Yo guys, what is up? Here we are with another reading video, and today we are on chapters 42 and 43 of Milkweed by Jerry Spinelli. So, I apologize if this video is out late because I'm recording early enough, but I am about to be hit by Hurricane Dorian. If you remember last year at this time, if you actually were watching, I got hit by Hurricane Florence. So yeah, same area, getting hit by another hurricane. So that's just how it's gonna be. Excuse me. That's all I've got to say. So let's get right into it. Chapter 42 of Milkweed by Jerry Spinelli. The man placed his foot on my chest. "You're a Jew," he said. "Yes," I answered. I pointed to my armband. "See? What are you doing here?" "I'm following the train. Janina, I'm going to the ovens." "What ovens?" "The ovens for the Jews. I'm a filthy son of Abraham. They forgot me. Can you take me to the ovens?" The man spit in the weeds. "I don't know what you're talking about. You make no sense. Are you insane?" That word was new to me. "I don't know, but I'm stupid, and tiny, and fast." He jerked me to my feet. "Tiny is right." He tore the armband away. "What happened to your ear?" "Yuri did it. He tried to kill me, but he missed." "Come with me," he said. I took a step and fell back to the ground. When I awoke, I was bouncing in a cart pulled by a donkey. When it stopped, the man slung me over his shoulder and dumped me into a heap of hay in the barn. The farmer's wife came and gave me a water and a carrot to eat. With water and rags, she cleaned my wounded ear. Then she tied a rag around my head that covered the ear and one eye. "Do you know Yuri?" I said. She tied another rag around my crusty arm. "Did you see Janina?" She touched my forehead. "You're burning, and you stink." The farmer's wife put me in a wooden tub and scrubbed me until I screamed. She brought me clothes. She burned my old ones, with the shoe in the pocket. The wife came every day and cleaned my ear and arm and felt my forehead and gave me water and carrots and boiled turnips. I slept in the hay and played with the mice in the barn. One was my favorite. I shared my turnips with it. I called it Janina. I taught it to run up my arm and stand on my head. Then a cat ate it. One day I woke and the ringing was gone. I walked out of the barn and through the fields until I came to the tracks. A spot of white caught my eye. The armband, snagged on a thorn bush. I stuffed it into my pocket. I had been walking the tracks for a long time when the farmer stopped me. "Where are you going?" he said. "To the ovens." The farmer knocked me down with a swat of his hand, and I was back in the donkey cart with a rope around my neck. I was tied to a stable post in the barn. Remember Yuri's story of my beginnings, of becoming a slave to farmers. Maybe the story wasn't made up after all. Maybe I was catching up with my life. After some days, the farmer's wife came into the barn and said, "You must not run away. There is a new law. All children must work on the farms." "Then to the ovens?" I said. "Yes," she said, "then." Chapter 43 I slept in the barn, ate in the barn, worked in the barn. When I wasn't working in the barn, I worked in the fields. I hauled rocks to the donkey cart. I picked bugs from the vegetables when I wasn't picking them for myself. I learned to milk the cow. One day the cow kicked me. I told her what happened to the cow in the ghetto. The farmer's wife, her name was Elzbedia, fed me with the pigs. The pig's toilet was my toilet. Every night I was tied to the stable post. Sometimes in the night, on the far side of the fields, I heard the huffing of locomotives and the clank of iron wheels. Many a time I asked Elzbedia, the wife, "When will the law be over? When can I go to the ovens?" "Soon," she always said, "but you must not run away. If you do, the Nazis will burn down the farm and feed us to the pigs." So I worked and waited and talked with the donkey and the mice. Then one day a man came in a horse and cart and said something to the farmer and went away. Later I heard the farmer shouting in the house. That night I was awakened by a voice, the wife's. "Run!" The rope on my ankle was gone. There was something under my shirt, against my skin. Bread. I ran. The war was over. I'd been on the farm for 3 years. I was back to walking the tracks. This time I had company. Thousands were trudging the tracks, the roads, Thousands were trudging the tracks, the roads, the fields. No jackboots guarded them. They were carnivals, markets. They sprang up in fields along the railroad and were gone the next day. People sold things. Shoes, cigarette lighter, apple, anything for money, anything for food. I saw a tent made from bed sheets. A man was calling, "Come in, come see Herr Hitler. Come right in, only 50 zloty." I did not have one zloty. I waited until someone was paying and slid under the bed sheet. Lying on the ground was a skeleton. Its bony feet had been stuffed into long black boots. A steel helmet swallowed half the grinning skull. Another man called, "10 zlotys, you won't believe your eyes." There was no tent, only a handkerchief. A customer paid. The man stood in my way. I could not see. He lifted the handkerchief and let it fall. The customer wanted his money back. While the two fought on the ground, I lifted the handkerchief. It was something I had never seen before. Something Ferdy said did not exist. Something Mr. Milgram said was like happy. It was an orange. The huskers fascinated me the most. I stood in front of them for hours as they ranted to the passing parades about the wonders under the tents and the handkerchiefs. They never stopped. They never ran out of words. When I lay down in the weeds or a barn at night, I whispered into the dark, "Come and look. You won't believe your eyes." I dreamed of bodiless jackboots tramping the earth. I dreamed of burning cows. I dreamed the stone angel looked down at me and said, "I am nobody." I walked the tracks and roads. I offered my services to farmers for food and a bed of straw in the barn. When there was no work, I took my food from wherever I could find it. I drank in water from bomb craters. I rode on trains. So did many others. I rode on boxcars and cinder cars and tankers. I rode 1,000 trains. None ever took me to Janina or to a candy mountain. Somewhere along the way, I heard the story of Hansel and Gretel, and I knew that the end was not true, that the witch did not die in the oven. One day I found myself back in the city of Warsaw. The bomb craters were gone. There was still rubble. Trucks and carts were hauling it away. I thought I heard a machine gun. I ducked into a doorway. It was a jackhammer. Saw people slumped in alleyways, but they were not covered in newspaper. They were sleeping for real. I found the ghetto. The wall was gone. I walked right in. I looked for Niska Street. I could not find it. I could not find our house, or the orphan's house, or Oleg hanging, or the rug we slept under. There was rubble, and there was nothing. Even the flies were gone. On the trains I had heard about the revolt. Till then I thought I was the last one out of the ghetto. I did not know 40,000 people were still there. The following spring, as I hauled farmers' rocks, the Jews turned on the jackboots with stolen guns and bottle bombs. The jackboots were too many, with their tanks and flamethrowers, and the revolt was over by May, and people were herded to the last of the trains, and the ghetto was no more. Standing in the silent dust, I understood at last what Yuri had done and what he had saved me from. I understood that Yuri I knew, the real Yuri, was not the one the Nazis knew. I smiled to think of him on the last day, once again in his own clothes, shaking his fist at the oncoming tanks, his red hair flaring, invisible no more, calling all the world's attention to himself. After I walked out of the ghetto that was no longer there, I wandered the streets of the city. I stole my food. One day, in a crowd on a sidewalk, I caught a whiff of mint. I stopped, looked about, ran back the other way. I stared into faces. I sniffed. There it was again, mint. A man's mouth was working, a fleck of green on his lip, a gristly, bony man, white whiskers, sunken eyes, ragged clothes, bare feet so dirty. Bare feet so dirty I thought at first he wore shoes or socks. No club, no fat belly. I planted myself in front of him. He stopped. Fat man. His head didn't move. His eyes sagged down to me. I tugged on his rags. Fat man. His eyes were dead. Fat man, it's me. Misha. Me and Janina. Remember? He did not hear. I shook him. Fat man. Buffo, you hate me. You want to kill me. Here I am. Here. I took his hand and put it on my head. Kill me. His hand slid off my head and flopped to his side. I punched him into his bony stomach. Fat man, look. I pulled from my pocket something I had been carrying all the time. The armband, once blue and white, now mostly black. I rolled it up on my sleeve. Look, fat man, I'm a Jew. You have to kill me. Look. But he would not look. He shuffled into me, almost knocking me down, and shuffled away. I watched until he was lost in the crowd. I took off the armband and let it fall to the sidewalk. That is the end of chapter 43. So, I know this was a short video, but next video is the last video, so make sure to comment what I should read next. I've got a few thoughts, but I'm so interested in seeing what you guys want me to read. So make sure you comment down below, because I really do take these into consideration. Unless they're kind of crazy. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a big thumbs up, comment down below, and don't forget, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.